This is a presentation of the Moldy Cheese family of networks.
Hey guys, it's a great day on the Moldy Cheese Network to play a little Utah Jazz 94-95 season replay. This is episode number 5. I apologize, I'm losing my voice here. I've been sick for a few days, but I'm just getting my voice back. As promised, we're going to look at the standings coming into this episode. The Nuggets are off to a white-hot 18-3 start. They would be the number 1 seed right now. The Spurs and the Rockets are 2-3. Timberwolves and the Suns 4-5. Mavericks and the Jazz and the Warriors round out the playoffs. If the playoffs were to start today, we'd be playing the San Antonio Spurs, a very classic 90s playoff matchup. In the Eastern Conference, the Charlotte Hornets out to a 16-5 lead. We play them here coming up in just a few short seconds. The Knicks are 16-7. The Heat are 14-6. If the playoffs were to start today, the Hornets would be playing the Magic, the Sixers, and the Bullets. The Knicks and the Hawks and the Heat and the Pacers would be the 3-6 matchup. The Cavs and the Celtics bringing up the rear of the conference at 4-16 and 3-18 overall. The Bulls still down there at 10-12, starting to make their way back up the standings though, with some players getting healthy. All right, game number 23. We're on the road at Charlotte Coliseum to take on the Charlotte Hornets. This court ought to bring back some memories for some folks. Some old school Charlotte Hornets fans. Here is John Crotty, leaves it to Karl Malone, steps back, shot from the top of the key is good. Hornets lead 30-23. Remember, they are the number 1 seed right now out of the Eastern Conference if the playoffs were to start today. So this is a pretty good Hornets club. 30-23. Here is David Benoit down the lane, throws it down with 2 hands. Going baseline on Scott Burrell, I think that was. 34-27. Hornets with the lead now early in the second quarter. Down the lane, Glenn Rice. Score it, count it, he's fouled. And Glenn Rice puts it on the deck against David Benoit. Gets down the lane for the slam. He will finish off the 3-point play with a free throw. It is up, it is good. And the Hornets still lead by 9. This is Muggsy Bogues. Stockton knocks it away from him and then picks up the loose ball. Stockton right side to Howard Isley. Isley down the lane, scoop it with the left hand, no. Rebounded by Larry Johnson. Johnson left side. This is Del Curry. Del Curry, the father of Steph. And what is Steph's brother's name? My mind just went blank. I can't remember his name. Seth. Steph and Seth. I'm sorry, but big news on this play. Karl Malone comes up injured. He would have to leave the game. He would not return. So the Jazz are left without Karl Malone to try to fight their way back in this game. Ostertag with the block. Stockton picks up the loose ball. Stockton flying by everybody down the court. Whips it underneath to Hornacek for the layup. A beautiful feed from the greatest of all time, John Stockton. Greatest passer in the history of the game, in my humble opinion. Wasn't flashy, but he always made the right pass and put his teammates in position to score easy buckets. 66-61 now. Hornets still holding on to the lead midway through the third quarter. This is Brian Russell guarded by Glenn Rice. Russell pump fakes. Russell tries to go right. Nothing there. He'll back it up. Fire up the 3. Contested shot goes down. Cuts the lead to 2. Hornets lengthen it back out to 9 now early in the fourth. This is Larry Johnson. Corner. Scott Burrell. No. Rebounded by Larry Johnson and he dunks it back. And it's an 11-point lead now. The lead has been cut to 3 with 5:14 to go. Stockton down the lane. Big dog, Antoine Carr with the dunk, taking Karl Malone's spot at the 4 spot. After Malone went out with the injury. 91-90 now with 4:50 to go in the game. Jazz have fought back without Karl Malone. And the Hornets lead by 1. Muggsy Bogues guarding Stockton. Stockton around the screen from Big Dog. He'll back it out. He's got Larry Johnson on him. Stockton fires up the 3, looking down the barrel, and it's good, and the Jazz have the lead. Hornets would come back and regain the lead, though. Rebound here by Divox. Out to Glenn Rice. His 3, no. Rebounded by Larry Johnson. Johnson underneath to Vlade. And Vlade lays it up, misses again, and Antoine Carr pulls it down. Here is Stockton. Stockton's going to pull up for 3 and hit it. It's 101-100. Jazz coming off of that heartbreaking loss to the Nets at the buzzer. It's 103-102 Hornets. Jazz trying to get back in the win column. 24 seconds to go. Hornets lead. 10 on the shot clock. 11-second differential. Here is Muggsy Bogues around the screen from Larry Johnson. Gets down the lane. It's stripped away. Stockton has it. Here comes Stockton across the timeline. Jazz down by 1. Stockton all the way to the lane, and he is fouled by Larry Johnson. No, by Glenn Rice. My bad. Glenn Rice with the foul. Stockton to the line. 7.8 seconds to go in the game. First free throw up and in by John. We're all tied up at 103. This one would give the Jazz the lead. It is up and it is good. 104-103 now, 6 seconds. Here is Del Curry. Right side to Glenn Rice. He throws it up. No! It's knocked away. Vlade has it at the buzzer! And Vlade Divac finishes the Jazz off. They're going to review it and make sure he got this off. I think he did. 0.5, 0.3, and it's out of his hand at 0.1. 2 games in a row end in heartbreak at the buzzer for the Jazz. 105-104, the Jazz battle without Karl Malone but come up short in game number 23. Hornets score 26 fast break points to the Jazz 11. Out assist us, if that's a word, 27-16. And they held their biggest lead was 14. Our biggest lead was 4 in the game. John Stockton finished with 21 points, 2 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals, a block, and a turnover. Larry Johnson, Grandmama, had 22 points, 19 rebounds, and 5 assists for the Hornets. Man, Larry Johnson, he was good in his prime, but his prime did not last long. All right, upcoming schedule, the remainder of this episode for the Jazz. We continue our road trip through the top of the Eastern Conference against the Heat. Then we're back home against San Antonio and Houston before a road matchup with the Spurs and David Robinson. So game number 24, we're on the road in Miami. They are 15-6. We are 12-1. And the Heat right near the top of the Eastern Conference. We're at Miami Arena in Miami with 1:40 to go in the first quarter. The Heat lead 18-15. Jazz playing, I believe, this game without Karl Malone. Hornacek gets the handoff from Crotty and hits the 3. We're tied up at 18. Later on in the second quarter, 38-36, Heat with the lead. This is Vashawn Leonard, guarded by Howard Isley. Over to P.J. Brown, to Askins, Keith Askins, back to the top of the key, to Rex Chapman of Twitter fame. And Rex Chapman knocks down the 2. His foot was on the line, 40-36. Heat with the lead. 4:50 to go in the second. This is Vashawn Leonard, left side. Vashawn Leonard into the corner to Chapman. Chapman working on Isley, back to the top of the key to P.J. Brown, over to Keith Askins. Askins guarded by David Benoit. Askins around the screen. Stockton pokes it away. Stockton gets on the floor, but Askins gets it. And Askins steps into a 3 and knocks it down. 43-36. Now it's a 6-point game for the Heat. With 1:50 to go in the second, here's Stockton. Yo-Yo's right side, guarded by Rex Chapman. 1:46 to go in the half. Stockton to David Benoit, down to Antoine Carr, big dog, going baseline. Picks up the bucket. We're into the third quarter now. It's 59-47, Miami with the lead. This is Tim Hardaway. Tim Hardaway has it knocked away by Stockton. Stockton's going to try to take it coast to coast with the left hand, lay it up in off the glass. Cuts the Heat lead to 10. Jazz have come all the way back now and trail by 1. Stockton on the right side. 63-62 Miami. Sorry, this is John Crotty with the ball. Crotty yo-yos guarded by Rex Chapman. Crotty trying to set things up for the Jazz. Tough defense by the Heat. Down here is David Benoit now on the block. Benoit left to right across the lane. Good if it goes, it's gone. David Benoit gives Utah the lead 64-63 with 2.5 minutes to go in the third. Playing here without Karl Malone in this matchup with Miami. And the Heat now lead at 89-82 with 2:15 to go in the fourth. Jazz in danger of falling to 500 at 12-12. Stockton against Tim Hardaway, right side. This is Brian Russell. Russell's 3 goes down. And the lead is cut to 4. 2 minutes to go. It's 89-85. Keith Askins, guarded by Brian Russell. Tim Hardaway, left angle 3 is good. Tim Hardaway hits the shot. The Heat go on to win 96-92. We fall back to 500 at 12-12. Here in game number 24, we shoot a very poor 37%. 9 of 33 from downtown. The Heat shoot 46%. And points in the paint, 64-50 in favor of Miami. Bench points, though, 40-21 for the Jazz. And again, 27 assists to 14 for Miami. We got to start moving the ball better. Antoine Carr is your player of the game for the Jazz with 19 points, 8 rebounds, and a steal. Tim Hardaway for Miami, 21 points, 3 rebounds, and 9 assists, and 1 steal. Miami played without Alonzo Mourning as well, so no excuses for the Jazz being without Karl Malone. Game number 25, back home at the Delta Center against the San Antonio Spurs, who are climbing the Western Conference standings. They get a 102-100 win, which drops the Jazz to their 4th loss in a row. It started on the road against New Jersey, and then they lost to the Hornets, lost to the Heat, and now we have lost to the Spurs. Dominique Wilkins with 26 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists for San Antonio. Stockton with 19 points, 6 rebounds, 9 assists, and 4 steals for the Jazz, who played their 2nd complete game in a row without Karl Malone. And we go to game number 26. The Jazz, under 500 at 12-13, facing the defending world champion Rockets, and the Jazz get back in the win column. They break that losing streak with a 111-100 victory over the Rockets. Jazz shoot over 50%. And Antoine Carr goes off 20 points, 9 rebounds, 1 assist or 1 steal, and 4 blocks. And the Dream has 20 points, 21 rebounds, 3 assists, and 3 blocks for the Rockets in a losing cause. So, very good win for the Jazz against the Rockets. And next up, we hit the road to take on the San Antonio Spurs. This will be the final game of this episode. We are 13-13. The Spurs are 20-6. And we will get things started off. We are at, I think, Alamo Dome is where the Spurs were playing in this year. I think Hemisphere Arena was done, and they are at Alamo Dome here in the 94-95 season, I believe. Howard Isley from the right side pulls up and hits the 3. Jazz out to a 14-point lead, playing again, I think, without Karl Malone. This is Antoine Carr setting the screen for John Crotty. David Benoit from the angle rattles in a 3. And the Jazz are shooting lights out and lead it by 10 here in the 3rd quarter. 72-62, Jazz with the lead on the road in San Antonio. Ostertag on the block. Back to Stockton. Here's Karl Malone, so he is back. Jazz not without Karl Malone in this game. First game back for the mailman. Underneath, David Robinson will throw it down. The Admiral puts in 2 for the Spurs. Jazz lengthen the lead back out to 16 with 5.5 minutes to go in the game. It's 101-85. Jazz playing one of their better games of the season against a very good San Antonio team. Karl Malone with Terry Cummings sagging off of him, and Malone knocks it down. The Jazz go on to cruise in this game, 114-96. So we close out this episode with back-to-back wins over the Rockets and the Spurs. 2 very good wins to get that bad taste out of our mouth from that 4-game losing streak. Here on our Utah Jazz 94-95 season replay. That was game number 27. That'll be the end of this episode. Let's look at the players of the game. Brian Russell had 17 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, a steal, and a block. We spotlight B. Russ. Sean Elliott with 18 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists for San Antonio. And we'll close it off. At 14-13, we're back over 500 for Utah here in the Utah Jazz 94-95 season replay on the Moldy Cheese Basketball Network.